All right, today we're diving deep into one of the most ambitious green initiatives happening anywhere on the planet. We're talking about China's massive national strategy to completely transform its environment, a plan they call Beautiful China. So let's get into the blueprint for this incredible undertaking.
So what is this plan, really? What's the big idea? At its heart, it's a blueprint that spans decades, and its goal is to fundamentally change the entire country's relationship with nature. We're going to break down the vision, the specific targets, and the strategy they've laid out to make it all happen.
You know, to really get what the Beautiful China initiative is all about, we first have to look under the hood at the philosophy that's driving it. This goes way deeper than just planting a few trees or cutting down on smog.
So the official definition calls it a core part of becoming a modern nation, a key piece of the Chinese dream, but it's also connected to this bigger concept called ecological civilization. The idea there is that you don't just grow your economy and then try to clean up the mess later. Instead, environmental health has to be baked in from the start. The goal itself is so simple but so powerful: blue skies, green land, and clean water. It reframes a healthy environment from a luxury into an absolute must-have.
So you might be wondering, why this gigantic push right now? Well, the story behind it is really a tale of two competing forces. On one side, you have some truly incredible progress, and on the other, you have these immense ongoing pressures.
And the progress part is pretty remarkable. I mean, just look at this. In the last 10 years, China managed to cut average PM 2.5. That's the really fine, nasty particle pollution in the air that's worse for our health, by a staggering 56% in its major cities. That literally makes it the fastest improving country in the world for air quality.
But, and this is a big but, that progress doesn't mean it's mission accomplished. The government's own policy documents are very frank about this, saying the country is in a critical period. What that means is that some really deep-rooted problems, like how much the economy depends on coal, for example, haven't been solved yet. The foundations for a truly clean environment, they admit, just aren't secure yet. The burden is still heavy. And that critical period is exactly why they've created this incredibly detailed, long-term blueprint. This is not a quick fix. We are talking about a plan that stretches out over 3 entire decades, with really clear goals to hit along the way.
So they've broken this huge vision down into 3 key phases. The first deadline is 2027, and the focus there is just on making significant progress. Then comes the next big milestone in 2035, which is the target for a fundamental improvement. And then the final goal, way out by the middle of the century, is to have fully built a beautiful China.
Okay, a 30-year plan is great, but how are they actually going to do it? Well, the whole strategy is built around fighting and winning several key battles against pollution and for sustainability.
The first, and probably the most visible battle, is the one for blue skies. Remember that 56% reduction we just saw? This is all about building on that success and making clean air a permanent thing all across the country.
And the strategy here is to hit the problem from all sides. It's not just about one type of pollutant. It's a coordinated attack on everything from industrial smokestacks, with big upgrades for heavy industries like steel and cement, to car exhausts, with tougher standards for vehicles and fuel. And this is really important. It focuses on getting different regions to work together, so pollution doesn't just blow from one province into the next. And this isn't just talk, they've put hard numbers behind it. The big target for 2035 is to get that national average PM 2.5 concentration down below 25 micrograms per cubic meter. That gives them a really clear, measurable finish line to aim for.
All right, so the fight for a cleaner environment doesn't stop with the air. The second major battlefront is the nation's waterways, and this covers everything from the massive rivers to the streams in cities and all the way out to the coastline.
The approach here is what they call source to sea. That means they're protecting the headwaters of huge rivers like the Yangtze and Yellow River, getting rid of those gross-smelling urban waterways, and systematically cleaning up every single pipe that dumps pollution into a river or the ocean. They're also restoring critical habitats like mangrove forests, using a tailored one-bay, one-policy approach to get it right.
Now, this third battle is probably the most fundamental one of them all. It's about totally re-engineering the country's economic engine so that it runs on green, low-carbon principles. We're talking about changing how things are made, how cities get their power, and how people move around.
This is a colossal economic shift. It means a massive expansion of non-fossil fuels, for one. But it also means creating a true circular economy, so you can recycle things like old electric vehicle batteries and solar panels. It means slamming the brakes on new high-pollution projects and, at the same time, pushing green transport and manufacturing as the new engines of growth.
And, once again, there are specific targets attached. Take cars, for instance. By 2027, the goal is for new energy vehicles, EVs, plug-in hybrids, hydrogen cars, to make up about 45% of all new cars sold. That is a huge and incredibly fast transformation of the auto market.
Now, a plan this huge and ambitious can't just be rolled out everywhere all at once. I mean, how do you even begin to test and implement such a complex vision across a country of 1.4 billion people? Well, the answer, according to the plan, is you create pilot zones. They call them Beautiful China Pioneer Zones. And these places basically act as real-world laboratories. They're where you test new policies, try out innovations, and create models that, if they work, can be scaled up everywhere else. And they're rolling this out in tiers. It starts at the top with these massive economically critical regions like the area around Beijing. Then it moves down to a handful of select provinces that will pilot the whole transition. And finally, it drills all the way down to the local level, supporting individual cities and counties so they can become showcases of what a beautiful city or beautiful village looks like.
Finally, this whole blueprint doesn't treat this as just a domestic thing. It specifically places China's environmental work in a global context. It's framed as part of the country's responsibility as a major power on the world stage.
The plan actually outlines a role for China to be an active player in global environmental governance. This means fulfilling its promises under the Paris Agreement on climate, championing that big biodiversity framework that was agreed in Kunming and Montreal, and also promoting greener standards for its huge overseas Belt and Road infrastructure projects.
The whole overarching vision is really summed up in this one official phrase, to co-build a clean and beautiful world. So this positions the Beautiful China initiative as not just some isolated national project, but as their piece of a shared global effort to build a sustainable future.
And that leaves us with a final, really powerful question. This is a blueprint of immense scale, immense ambition. If it actually succeeds, it could completely transform China's landscape over the next few decades, and that, in turn, would have a profound impact on the entire planet. The real question is, what's going to be the biggest challenge in making this vision a reality? Thanks for joining us.